So it should be pretty productive day. I think it'll go quick. So I'm excited about that. Let's get started with some nymphs. And then we'll go, ooh, this is a good one. This is a little dyed yellow mallard. This would be good, keep that. And then we'll go into some emergers. Then we'll finish off with some dry flies. A little bit bigger patterns. Picking out a thread. I think black. Black is gonna be the way to go here. There's some black. It's kind of running low, but we might as well use. Oh, here's some black. Let's use this first. Are they the same? Yeah. 36 denier unithread. We'll do the smaller spool first. Dark brown would also be good thread color for your caddis larva. And then we'll do a couple bead head. Actually, I think all the nymphs will be bead head. And then we'll lightly weight the emergers. And we can kind of mess around with the dries, get a little variety of dry action. We'll do 2.8 on a size 12 to start, 14 maybe. These are for a birthday box, so we gotta do a good job on them. Go ahead, get that bead started. There are cased caddis and then kind of free swimming caddis. I think it's a good idea to have both. So we'll start with the cased. And then I'm gonna do some pheasant with a black wire rib. I don't think the rib color matters, but the pheasant I'm going to use is not natural. It's dyed a little bit orange. I like it. It's got character. So I'm gonna pull off some of the pheasant. You could use a synthetic material as well. Like a, what do they call that stuff? Vinyl rib. Vinyl rib. That works as well. But we will use this pheasant. I can save the legs. I can save the tips and try to incorporate them as legs. Let's try. We'll do a loose, give it a draw. Stop it there. Work it back. And then tie in our rib, which is just our ultra wire. Ooh, our thread is looking pretty gnarly. Almost all the way back. Or travel your thread up. I'm gonna do the pheasant tail behind the rib, and then travel in front. I want all the fibers to have tension, so I'm working slow. Working slow. And working slow. Oh, we lost the tension. We got it back. I'm gonna trap. Actually, I need one more wrap. I'm gonna trap the material. Whoa, what's going? Oh no. Yeah, we got it. I'm gonna trap the material with my thread. And then add a few securing wraps. 1, 2. I'm gonna pick out that trash. Go ahead, trim off that excess. And then we're gonna counter, so we wrap the pheasant clockwise, we're going to counter wrap the black wire. So it's reinforcing that pheasant tail. And I don't want to make the wire rib wraps too close together, because then it takes away from the natural elegance of the pheasant tail. Go ahead and trap. And clip. Now that you need kind of head or thorax material here. There's a little bump of the wire poking up, so we'll wrap around him. We still have our tips we're trying to do for legs, so let's try to keep those in the mix. Material, you could do a dubbing, or you could do peacock curl. Because this is a gift birthday box, we're going to do some peacock curl. A little classy. Not that our peacock curl's it's very readily available material. Here's ooh, wait a second. So this peacock curl and this peacock curl, that's pretty disgusting. This is natural and this one is dyed. So we'll do the red dyed curl. And we're just gonna take one strand. I'm actually gonna clip that bit off. And we'll wrap. I'm gonna travel my thread in front of our legs. We'll wrap the hurl. 1, 2, not too much. Travel it in front of the legs. 1 and 2. And then we'll trap it, clip it, and whip it. Do whip finish. Cinch down that whip. Give it a trim. This is on a jigged hook, so the legs are actually going to be poking out the bottom. And they aren't very good, but they don't need to be, because this is just an impressionistic. Cased caddis look like little sticks. And so there's not much to them, and that'll work. Let's do something a little bit bigger, more of a free swimming or escaped from a stone case caddis. If you squeeze on the case caddis, there's a little green worm that comes out. But the bigger caddis make their cases out of rocks. And if you squeeze them, they're even more wormy. So we'll do a bigger pattern, heavier bead, and then more of a wormy color, cream, green, something along those lines. I'll do a 2.8 or 3.8 rather instead of our 2.8. Hopefully that will work. Oh yeah. Great. This is even simpler than our first pattern. I don't know if a waltz worm imitates a caddis nymph, but I certainly think it looks like it. You could do a little tag end on your caddis. A lot popular nymphing patterns have little tags at the end. We're not going to do that, but we are going to blend up some material here. So this is just kind of a synthetic yarn material, and I'm going to pull some out. The fibers are nice and long, so that's a green. And then I'm going to pull out some of this creamy colored stuff. And then I'm going to blend it together, not ripping, keeping the fibers long. Keeping them long. Good. We don't need all of this, we just need a section of it. Little bit. I'd say that's about good. Yeah, a little bit more. Give it some beef. I'm gonna roll it in my thumb, cording it up. And I'm gonna trim the butts. I'm going to tie it in nice and high, draw it back, and then I'm going to wrap pretty far down the hook, almost getting around to the bend of the hook. This is a rather short hook. I have my material. I'm going to spin gently, and I'm going to wrap. I'm not even going to use a rib. Wait, which way am I spinning? Because when the fibers rip and tear, it gives it a bit more of an impressionistic look. And then we're getting a nice segmentation with the corded up material. The only trouble we're going to have is if we have enough. We might be a bit short, in which case we just restart the process. And that's a nice kind of browny, creamy, greeny, wormy color. And then let's get one more wrap in. stop there. For this style, you could leave it as is, no problem. But I like to do a little pinch of black though. I like to do it for the, this has some flash blended in. I also like to do it for the emergers as well, a little pinch of black. And that's just for my peace of mind. You could do it loose to create kind of some legs on there. I'm gonna do mine pretty tight. This section is not very tight. It's got a little UV coming out. I'm gonna trim it. And I'm not even gonna trim that body. I'm gonna let some of those stragglers ride. And then we whip it, and then we're finished. And this pattern will catch just about every trout. So we did a cased, and then we did an uncased. I think we still need to do a couple more nymphs. So let's do what are we doing? Kind of wire body. Yeah. So this pattern is nice, but there's a lot of material. This isn't gonna sink as well as something that's a little bit slimmer, and depth is gonna matter more. It's gonna matter most when you're fishing, when you're nymphing. So let's tie a pattern that sinks well. Thread, we could do a thread body pattern. We could do a wire body pattern. I'm thinking, what am I thinking? Let's do thread body, but let's do something a little bit more adventurous. This is a Kevlar thread, thicker Kevlar thread, usually used for tying streamers. We'll use this. We'll try to build a little taper, and then we'll wrap a double color wire reel. This is completely unnecessary, but should look incredible. Yeah, you can already see how thick this thread is, which is good. But we don't want a super thick pattern. We do want to build a slight taper. So we'll come back down. That's enough of a taper. Ooh, no. Stick with what we're doing. Don't deviate. We have some chartreuse wire. And then we had our black wire that we used for our previous pattern. So we'll double these up. Whoa, I dropped the black. Where did it go? Got it. No, I dropped the chartreuse. All right, we'll do our wire. And we're gonna go right on top of our pattern. The tie-in is actually important because if it gets all messed up on the tie-in, then the pattern doesn't look pretty. So we gotta make sure they're sitting right. Those are sitting right. And then I'm gonna come back down once again, all the way down, almost all the way down. We'll start there. Coming back up. And I'm gonna let some of the thread out. We will unravel that if it builds up. And then I'm using the rotary function of the vise because it will be much more precise than if I did this freehand. So I have good tension on the wire, and I'm just rolling the vise, and my thread is kind of building up, traveling. So let's undo that. I want the black and chartreuse wire nice and close. Candy cane. And then fix our thread. We'll stop right there. Give it a trap. Give it a trap. Nice. Clip our wire. Okay. I'm gonna tie off and finish with a different thread because this thicker thread will give you too much. It's already doing it. It's going to give you too much of buildup when you tie off. So it's worth it to change. And I shouldn't have even whipped it. I could have just wrapped it with another thread and started that way. Whipping it was a mistake. It's getting messy now. Stupid. So let's get a new thread. Something thin and supple. This is a 70. Oh no, this is a 140. I want a 70. This is a 70. And this thread is unwaxed and flat. We need it unwaxed and flat because we're gonna split it. We're gonna split it. Okay, let's get the thread on the hook once again. Yeah, I made a mistake with that, whipping that Kevlar. It's really hard to trim the Kevlar. If you like the look of the kind of epoxied bodied or the UV resin, you could UV it. I personally despise that look, so I don't do it, but lots of people like it. I'm gonna do some CDC for our legs. And a nice color is going to be this slate gray. Really nice. it's called light slate done. I don't need a lot. This is a feather I've already used for a dry fly. I use the tip to make a wing, and I just want the bottom section. So I'm gonna clip it, and it's actually quite heavy. And I don't need this much, but we're gonna go for it, see what it looks like. Oh, yeah, we're good. And then I'm gonna get my pokey tool, and we will split our thread, creating a loop. And then we're gonna get our CDC, insert it into the loop. And then we will, before we spin, it's too heavy. I'm gonna pull some out. And now we'll spin. I'm going for, this amount will give me about 1.5 wraps, which is fine. Spin it up. I'm gonna preen it and wrap it as close to the bead as I can. And then as we're wrapping, I want them all pointing toward the bend of the hook. So I'm gonna preen and wrap and preen. And there's one that's going a little bit crooked, but that's it. I don't want a lot of thread buildup behind the bead, but before we knot it, we want to let that unwind. Patience. I'm not even gonna trim. I'm gonna leave that CDC long, and this will be a good searching pattern for your western rivers, maybe your eastern rivers too. Some people will, if you want more color differentiation, you could bleed a little ink into the thread. It looks pretty cool. Get like a two-tone body. We're gonna whip it. 1, 2, 3. Cinch it down. Whip it. 1, 2. 1, 2, I guess. 1, 2. Cinch down that whip. Trim out your thread. And finito. All right. So we have some more nymphs. I kind of want to do the emerger. The hook matters. Does the hook matter? I don't know. Hook matters to me. We'll do something small to start, and then we'll get bigger. Something small, and we'll get bigger. And we'll do our synthetic. Oh yeah, this will be fun. There's a pattern, John Barr pattern, called the graphic caddis. Usually it's a nymph, but if it's unweighted, it is a nice emerger because there's so much going on. So much going on with it. So we will get our thread started. And we need a flat. It doesn't have to be flat. doesn't have to be flat. You need a holographic or a metallic material under your synthetic. Let's try the pink. This is gonna be incredible. We'll do the pink Flashaboo. I'm just gonna get 2 strands. Wrapping the Flashaboo is pain in the neck. So I'll get 2 strands. I'll start high. I'm gonna get them halfway in the middle so they stay together. Then I'm gonna come down the back and all around the bend. No, I need to tie in the vinyl rib for it. I don't think it matters. Reverse. Let that sit there. We'll get our vinyl rib. This is cool because the vinyl rib is translucent. And so the metallic will show through, not too much, just the tease. And you get a tactical pattern. When I'm tying in the vinyl rib, I'm pulling it, I'm stretching it pretty far. I'm gonna go under our, oh no. This is why you do the vinyl rib first. I guess I'm not gonna pull it. I'm just gonna get the thread. You gotta pull it. If you don't pull it, you can't get a good taper. Nice and far down the bend. Let's get our Flashaboo back. And then his pattern has just a short section of the metallic underneath the pearl. I'm gonna do the whole dang thing, unweighted. You let this drift behind your stimulator. Oh baby. And then we'll stop here. You need some space for the head and legs. So we'll stop right about there. Trim that out. And then we will wrap. The wrap, if you didn't have vinyl rib, you could use a UV resin, and in this instance, I would support that. It would look pretty cool. It's getting a little bit too, it's giving me a little bit too much attractor vibes. So I'm gonna undo this. Not feeling that. I'm gonna undo it. And I'm going to, I need to mute some of this this flash. So I'm gonna take a Copic and I'm gonna just tap. It doesn't need to be solid. Just give it a few taps to kind of break up that super metallic. Couple taps on the bottom. And the reason I didn't tap the the vinyl rib is because it would wear off real fast. Give it a wrappy, 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 wrappy. Wrappy, wrappy. And stop. All right. So from here, we need to think legs and head. The head can just be dubbing. The head can just be dubbing. The legs could be like a hair or feather or dubbing. But we found this nice yellow, barred yellow feather, so we'll try to use it. And no, I got a better feather. We got better feathers. We'll save that yellowy. These aren't better, but these are feathers. This is just a soft hackle. This is not a better feather. Got excited for nothing. This is the tip of the hackle. These are the sides of the hackle. I'm gonna notch out the tip. And then I'm gonna preen a little bit. So now I have a V. And I'm going to measure my V so it's about equal distribution on each side. I'm going to tie in my V. Behind the V, one loose. You do two loose. Oh, buddy. I think we might have messed it up. Then I'm going to draw the V back. Yeah, we're a little heavy. But we can fix that, and I'm gonna finish. So now I have little leggies on each side and on the top, which is not desirable. You primarily want them on the sides. And we can wrap our thread. And we were using a hare's ear for that last one, but I want to use something a little bit cleaner. So, do we have anything cleaner? Oh man, I was looking for this. Do we have anything clean? This is some synthetic hair. This would also make good leg. I'll put that over here. Might do that later. Something a little cleaner. I'm not seeing anything. So we'll just go with the hairline black. Hopefully this covers. Yeah, this would be okay. Just a wee pinch. It'd be nice to get a little taper on the head. Measuring out my rope. Measuring out my rope. That should be good. Working slow. Working slow. And working slow. Oh, finish near the eye. That's not great, but it'll do. And that is a caddis, unweighted nymph, but it'll fish like an emerger. Funny pattern. Let's do what do we want to do here? Let's get into the dries. Let's get into the dries. Start big. How big? Pretty dang big. Pretty dang big. My go-to is just the CDC wing. This is a little bit bigger pattern, so we'll do a double wing. We'll do a double hair wing to start, and then we'll do a double feather wing. This is a good one. This is a good skill building pattern. We'll go neutral for the body. You could do like a flash orange UV with the brown. That would look good. But we'll go neutral. I'm finding olive. Where the heck is the neutral? We got the net. Oh man, this is what I was looking for earlier. Dang it. It's just a finer synthetic. It would have dubbed tighter. That's the only reason I wanted it. Guess we're going olive. We'll do the olive blended with the orange. So I'll take some orange flash, just a pinch, and then we'll do our olive dubbing. Just a pinch, and then we'll do a darker hairs here. Just a pinch. And we'll blend all of that together. And that'll give us our body material, color. All right. So just a little bit on our thread, we're measuring. I mean, this is not actually, I chose a really bad thread, but we're committed. This thread is too thin. Or too weak. The diameter, I guess, doesn't matter, but this thread is too weak. We're going to just dub this back section. Then we're going to stop and do it to about right there. Then we're going to stop, it will tie in the wing. Because we're going kind of lighter color body, I'm going to do a lighter color wing. A little bit more than a pencil width in terms of amount. I'm going to clean up the butts. This hair is not that bad. This was a clean deer. And then we will stack it, stack it, stack it. I have a little tube I stack with. Here it is. Insert the hair into our tube and work it down. Then I just knock it against my palm. And then I tease out the hair and it looks okay. I'm gonna grab it by the tips. And then I'm gonna give it a flick and pick out the rest of that trash. You could run a comb through it, that works too. And get rid of the rest of that trash. Okay, so the length should be just a little bit longer than the bend. That's what I would do. I wouldn't go crazy, just a little bit, maybe ½ centimeter. But the tie-in point needs to be pretty high, like up here high. And so we'll do a loose, and we don't want the hair to spin, so you're gonna need to keep hold of it this entire time. And gentle. We're trapping some hair, trapping one hair. You could trim this out if you're scared. We're doing gentle wrap up until our dubbing. Gentle wrap, that's about it. And then we'll come back, tighter wrap. We gotta manage this. I'm scared. I'm gonna trim that out. Okay. And then we come back around, tighter wrap, tighter wrap, tighter wrap, tighter wrap. Tighter wrap, tighter wrap, tighter wrap. Finishing out, coming back. Don't worry about this flare, but be concerned about the belly. We don't want hair encroaching on the belly. Next section of dubbing. This can be quite thin as you've already built up a significant body. Quite a significant body. Dub and rope. Spin it up. And we wrap. We wrap toward the tips, and we're gonna cover enough to gather. And then now it's under control. Not too much. You don't want it lying completely flat, but you want to control it. And we will stop. We will stop. We need more. A little bit more. Keep going. Stop right about there. All right. We're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna tie in a wing, and then we have to think about how we want to finish. If we want to finish with a hackle, if we want to finish with hair, if we want to, I don't know. I didn't think that far ahead. Let's take another clump of our deer hair, same size as the first. Cut it out. Clean it up. Give it a flip, tube it, or hair stacker it. Get it nice and even. Ooh, there's a broken one. Grab them by the tips. I'm gonna run this through, because I don't want any of that in the fly. And then we're gonna measure our wing, and I'm gonna pre-cut these butts just for ease of tie. We got our wing measured, and we can loose. I'm traveling now down toward the hook eye. Loose. Now getting tighter, tightest. Don't worry about the flare. We're gonna trim this to a tapered point, ideally. And then we gotta figure out how we're gonna finish. Let's knock those out. Don't worry about the flare, just worry about if there's hair on the bottom. Hair that was wrapped. Okay, fine. Let's tie in, yeah, let's not get too crazy here. We'll just do a hackle. Measures, look at this hackle. It's good, but this is a pretty haggard looking hackle, so we'll get something a little bit better than that. That one's too small. too small. What, the beans? That one's too big. This one is too webby. I think we need, that's the problem with the genetic hackle, it's all the same length. We're going au naturel. A little long, but I think it'll play. Do I need to? I don't think I do. But we're going to. We're dressing this heavy. Prep the hackle, trim it out, tie-in point. We're going to tie the hackle up top here, but not flush to the wing. I want a little bit space behind. Clean this up. Clean that up a little bit. Okay. How are we looking? Looking good. Dubbing rope. Dubbing rope. Dubbing rope. Nice and tight. Tight dubbing rope. Oh, we could have changed it. We could change the head color. We are not that artistic. I'm gonna put one wrap behind the hackle, actually a couple wraps behind the hackle, because remember we use our dubbing to manage the wing. In front. And it's not covering completely, but I don't care because we're gonna wrap the hackle. I care about this. The hair's kind of flaring out, so we'll need to address that. Wrap our hackle. I'm gonna wrap, and then I'm gonna hold because I want those wraps traveling forward. I don't want to wrap anything on top of itself, and I want to use as few wraps as I can. Getting down to the business. And trap it. Clip it. Before I mess with the wing, let's tie this off. The hackle is a little bit long. However, this kind of pattern is going to be fished in really fast water. So, it doesn't really matter. This is not your dainty caddis. It's almost the size of a stonefly. I'm gonna clean up the sides a little bit, just a little bit. Just a little bit more over here. And then this guy, take him out. Yep, good. That's the profile we're looking at there. And that is a double wing monstrosity. And the caddis larvae we tied are nowhere near the size of that. A bit ridiculous. Okay, so that was a hairy double wing, and now we will tie a feathery double wing, which is significantly easier. And we can keep our dainty thread. We'll go olive with darker hare's ear and skip the orange flash. More muted, generic. I see people tying caddis in like Crayola brown. I don't like it. I wouldn't fish it. I'd go natural or olive. Natural being natural hare's ear. Dub and rope. I'm gonna make this section longer than the section we did, the back section we did for the hair wing. A little bit longer. Right about there. And then we'll get our feathers. Feather selection is important. We need some goodies. That's a goodie. And that's barely a goodie, but he'll pass. So two feathers per section. This one is a little bit darker. I'm going to tie him first, a little bit longer than the bend. And we'll tie him in flat. They're going to separate over time, and it gives it a little fluttering look, or how they separate is all up to the river gods. But when they separate, it's not bad. Gives it a new look. We'll go ahead, we'll trim them out. And then we'll do next section. So you see how much easier this is? So much easier. Oh, I'm getting careless and doing too much dubbing. Nice and tight, a little bit more right there. We don't need to wrap over the wing because we don't want to trap it. Wrap toward the head. Two more good feathers. That's a goodie. A little bit dark like the first one we did. This is not a great one, but we'll use it. No, we gotta search for the right feather. This one's better. For the wing feathers, I'm looking for the side barbs to be as long as the tip. So when they tie in, it'll be like one unit. You could tie it in, draw it back, but I think it's easier just to measure and do one shot because we want it sitting on top. One shot, second feather, up top, one shot. Let's adjust a bit and we'll call it good. All right. Now, you could leave these butts long. I'm gonna leave it moderately long. But we need to think about some legs. I've had really good luck with a little bit darker color on the legs. Don't ask me why. So this is caddis color, darker brown. I wouldn't go black, but a little bit darker color with the legs. And because this is a big pattern, I don't need to worry about overdressing necessarily. So we'll use the whole dang thing. But we gotta get the whole dang thing. And we need a piece of foam. So this is closed cell foam. Ugh. It has a slit in it, and I'm gonna press the feather down into our slit. Almost dropped it. So that the fibers are poking through said slit, and then I'm gonna take our grocery store clip and clip it, and then open up the foam to release the feather. I'm gonna chop off the stem, save it, because the tip can be used for mid-wing, or the stem could be used for like a leg, grasshopper leg or something. Split our thread. Insert the CDC. Give it a spinner. Okay. Normally I'm preening and controlling, but for this one, I'm just gonna let it ride, see what it looks like. Wrap that as a hackle. 3 wraps over. I'm gonna go under our little butt stems. We should have left them long and trimmed them later. And then we'll finish right there. Really nice profile. Can you see that? I don't know if you can see that. Let's let the thread unravel before we whip to ensure strength and honor. And then we can whip it and we're done. And then I don't know, I'm a little bit caddised out. I think we'll have time for one more after this, but I'm at a loss. What we should do. Upon further review, this one is a little bit heavy everywhere. Hackle, I should have gone single hackle and then a little bit lighter on the wing hairs. But it'll work. Yeah, it'll work. I'll go ahead and whip that. Whippy whippy. Trimmy trimmy. Let's check our time. I think we're good. Yeah. I think we're gonna call it. So let us review the work. We started with our cased caddis, a little bit, oh man, that glare is rough. Pheasant tail, black wire, and then we did pheasant tail tips for the legs. I don't know what the heck is happening right now. And then we moved to a, no, we got change. Let's change. My shoebox is killing me. Going over, taking a field trip. Taking a field trip. All right, so fly number one was a cased caddis with a I'll put him on there. Pheasant tail wrapped with black wire, thorax is peacock herl, and then we left the legs as kind of tips as legs. There's something going on there. One of them is significantly longer, but knock off the legs and you have a good pattern. The next one we did was a yarn body. I was doing kind of waltz worm, bigger pattern, 3.8 millimeter bead, corded up the material, no rib, good segmentation, and then the head or thorax is a black hare's ear dubbing with a little bit of green UV flash mixed in. And that's kind of my take on a waltz. And then the next one we did, we tried to get a little bit fancier. We did a thread body with a double wire rib, chartreuse and black, and slate gray or gray dun CDC legs on her. And that one turned out quite nice. Then we moved on to our graphic, or we were gonna do some pupa, but got a little bit sidetracked. We did pearl, like a pink pearl mylar under vinyl rib, but it ended up being too flashy, so we muted it with dabs of black marker on the pink body wrap, and then we wrapped the vinyl rib over it, giving it more of like a, I think you can see it better on this side, just breaking up that flashiness. The legs were soft hackle, tied in tip first. We trimmed out the tip and drew the hackle back. Then we finished with a hare's ear dubbing head. It turned out okay. However, I would have liked a better taper overall. She's a bit, well, thin for the win. Thin flies are better, but not aesthetically pleasing. Next, we moved on to a double wing hare caddis, and we blended synthetic with hare's ear and orange flash for the body, and then 2 dun colored hackles for our hackle, and it is a little bit overdressed, but it'll work. Kind of a October caddis-y pattern. And then we finished with our double wing CDC 2 feathers in the back, 2 feathers in the front, with a darker CDC clipped and spun as a hackle. And this would be the one I would primarily fish. So that's it. I appreciate you guys for watching. I'll be back, and yeah, then I'll have to take a break, but tie every day, very therapeutic. See you later.